Hi and welcome to RC Nerd 74. In today's Tech Stuff episode, I'm gonna show you how to remove Plasti Dip Liquid Tape from your electronics plates. I did a waterproof test on my LOS quad in one of my last videos, and I got some comments which asked how you can remove Plasti Dip Liquid Tape and if it's possible to unsolder and resolder cables from your electronics plates. So to give you the answer for both questions at the beginning, both is possible. You can remove Plasti Dip Liquid Tape. This is an example how liquid tape looks when you take it off from your electronics, and it's also possible to unsolder cables which are covered with Plasti Dip on the electronics plate. I'm going to go through all the details now and give you some tips what you have to care about. As you can see, I did 3 different electronics plates which are all covered and front and back side with liquid tape. There are some little differences. 2 plates with 2 layers of liquid tape. That's how Plasti Dip recommends to cover electronics plates, and 1 is covered with only 1 layer of liquid tape. This is just to show if there is any difference between 1 or 2 layers if you want to remove the liquid tape from your electronics plates. The other difference between the 2 electronics plates which are covered both with 2 layers is that I used small cables to unsolder and on the other one thick cables to unsolder, just to see the difference between the behavior of unsoldering different sizes of cables. So first I did all the covering of the 2 electronics plates. Then I just did first try to remove the Plasti Dip, and as you can see, it went out well. The electronics plate was absolutely clean from liquid tape. Then on the second step I covered all 3 plates and covered 2 layers and 1 layer. And then I tried to unsolder the cables through the Plasti Dip liquid tape. There was a pretty big difference between unsoldering thin cables like RC receiver cable or a thick cable like a motor or a battery cable. And there was also a difference if you have 1 or 2 layers on your electronics plate. You have to use really high heat. It was around 420 degrees. And you really have to heat up the liquid tape a few seconds until you get through the liquid tape onto the solder to heat up the solder and unsolder the cables. It absolutely works, but I think the final solution for my FPV quads will be that I try to cover the electronics plates, all the components, only with 1 layer of liquid tape, just to make unsoldering easier. For resoldering cables onto the components, I highly recommend to uncover the whole component from liquid tape, solder on the new cables and cover the whole thing back on. Because as you can see here, soldering in this condition of the ESC, that's not a really safe way to do a clean solder point. So now let's do the most exciting part live at the camera. Perhaps I will do some time lapsing just to make it a little quicker. What you need to uncover is a sharp knife, and you have to cut off the edge of your electronics plate to get the edge of the liquid tape and pull it off. And it's pretty strong resistance to pull it off, but it works. So first let's have a try on the single layer covered ESC, and let's have a look how this will end up. This is the first result of 1 layer covered ESC. So that looks pretty clean. Just some liquid tape left on the solder pads of your motors, but you just need a little more time to remove these bits too. One very important thing is before you take off the liquid tape, always unsolder all your cables you have soldered onto your solder pads. I tried the first remove without unsoldering the cables, and what happened is that I also pulled off the solder pad from my ESC and damaged my ESC. So very important, uncover the solder spots of your cables, unsolder them or directly unsolder them through your liquid tape, but really unsolder your cables before you start to remove the liquid tape. This was pretty tricky to remove. I had to do some tries to get all the stuff off. As you can see, there are just small bits, and this is how my first try looked with 2 layers of liquid tape. This ESC I covered with only 1 layer. There's only one downside if you cover it with 2 layers, and this is the heat. So your FPV drone electronics, especially the ESC and the FC, gets pretty warm or hot, and the more layers you put on, the hotter the ESC and the FC gets. So what I also will try is, like you can see it here, just to cover the ESC partly. So I will leave some spots without liquid tape to keep the fits a little cooler. So I hope that this solution will work in summer up to 30 degrees Celsius too. So now let's take off the liquid tape of these 2 plates too, and we'll see the results. So this is the result of taking off liquid tape, which is made with 2 layers, and as you can see, it all comes off in one piece, and that's way easier to remove, and your electronics look absolutely clean. So then let's go on to the FC, the last plate, and let's have a look how this will end up. And here we go with the result from uncovering the FC, and as you can see here too, it's perfectly clean. So I think 2 layers of liquid tape would be the most comfortable solution. I even covered the pins to connect the ESC to the FC, and as you can see, even the pins are absolutely clean, nothing left of liquid tape. So I think liquid tape is pretty cool solution to keep your drone working when you fly in waterfalls or in snow or any wet conditions. So this is already all about today's video. Thanks for watching, have a good time, happy flying, bye bye.